Sound like it's fucking recording. Now, did it? Is the question.
Yep.
Yep.
I just got an alert.
I'm sharing it now.
Oh, you sharing it?
Yeah, I
All
got
right.
it.
All right.
Ravens live.
Ravens live.
Uh,
I don't even know if fucking joystick that. Oh, there we go.
Chase Brown, Jamar Chase. Chase boys. We the Chase boys. I'm about to change my shit.
Chase boys.
Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, the Chase boys. It's the
About to
Chase.
be CBC. Chase Burrow Chase. I don't know. Chase Crosby Chase. Thank you, Brandon. We got a little Pro Bowl linebacker this year. Fox says send it. Man. Fog, I need that compensatory pick, man. I took you to the Snake School of Trade, and like, you getting compensatory picks out here. Fuck. I need a compensatory 7 for the you know what I mean? Where
Late
coaches
night,
get.
late night, late night, late night. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Let's
Welcome. Those
go.
that's tuning in and shit right now. It's always special for the Pro Bowl selection show because right after that we get to find out what guys went up on trade. What type of Madden is this? Is this thing going to upgrade some Pro Bowlers? Is it going to upgrade, stat guys? Like how are we going to see some improvement to your team, especially those guys that knock their games out all year long? We shall see. But as of right
Appreciate
now, we're
those
going
guys.
right to the playoff conversation. Now, we'll have that tomorrow. We'll talk about the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship games that was played. And we'll talk about the two teams that are representing the AFC and the
Pause.
NFC in the Super Bowl this season, in season one. Game of Thrones 5, season one is actually coming to a conclusion. Tomorrow we should be active, depending on what time that game get played. Stay up, because it's going to be time to get to it. You know what I'm talking about? It's going to be
Man,
time is on my side. Yes, it
man,
is.
shout out to everybody that played games this first season. Win, lose, or draw. Because we had some draws too. But man, I just gotta give a little shout out to the league before you get all the way into the show, man. Uh, it don't just take one person to run a league. Everybody in the league is like a family, man. So when everybody in here playing their games, you might have some little words over in here, but it's all fun and games. And man, we just appreciate everybody playing your games and hope that everybody the people that was a little less active had some things going on. Hope you guys are definitely more active this season. It was a hell of a first season, man. It's a lot of storylines. We'll go over tomorrow, but hey, it's Pro Bowl time. Who's Pro Bowling, ain't?
Well, when you look at the NFC and the AFC matchups, let's take a real deep dive into this and talk about the quarterbacks. We're going to talk about QB1s first, and then we'll go into QB2 and 3. But at the QB1 spot, you're looking at the NFC, you take a look at who's representing the NFC as the starting quarterback of this year's 2023 Pro Bowl, and that's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence's story is
Wow.
he's been a playoff guy at Jacksonville. He went through some hell, right? Every time you're the number one pick, that means you're going to a shitty team, and the build has to be around that guy, right? The franchise guy. Well, whatever reason, the franchise didn't see him as that guy going forward, although he took him to a playoff in 2022. Got himself in a trade and slid himself in his eyes to a better football team. And because he's at a better football team, he got to go deep into the playoffs, something that he didn't do the year before, which is go deep into the playoffs. Although he did win a playoff game last year, this time he won 2 of them, and saw himself sitting right in the conversation to go
You
to
had
the
a
Super
bye week
Bowl.
and won one.
Yep. Well, he won 1 game. I'm sorry, bye week, and
Yeah,
then
he had a
won
bye
1.
week though. And
Well,
had an impressive
you give
16-1
him
records.
you give him the win in the bye week because he played his ass off all year to get that bye. So
Right.
that's a win right there.
Hell
But
yeah.
when you talk about the Pro Bowl, it's a gift and a curse to the Pro Bowl because if you're sitting up here on this list as the QB1 of the Pro Bowl, that means you didn't accomplish your regular season goals or your postseason goals, right? To be at the quarterback or be at this Pro Bowl to take that trip to Hawaii, that means you came short of the ultimate goal for everybody, which is the Super Bowl, being a Super Bowl representative, right? So Trevor Lawrence was the MVP of the league. Threw the most passing yards, threw the most touchdowns. He was had the highest completion percentage all year long. I mean, what didn't he do? He did everything but get his team to a Super Bowl. And in my book, being the MVP of the league, does that make him the best player in the league right now?
Um, hmm. I say with that team, and I can't. I'm not sure. I don't know that yet. Like I gotta look at stats. We know, like I'm not really sure. But he had an impressive regular season run and a first year run over there. That team is so young. It's scary what can happen over there.
Yeah. That is a young football team. He's in a great spot right now in Seattle. I think he's comfortable, and I think Trevor Lawrence can actually buy a home and move his children and wife into Seattle and set their schools systems and all that stuff up because he ain't going nowhere no time soon. And he's going to have something to say about the offseason every year, right? I think he's that good of a quarterback. Look, just first of all, the guy came in the league at 84 overall. He has him up to a 97 right now. So that tells you the work he put in all year long with him, right? And I have the XPs on low, so for him to develop that much, right? He went up over 10 points all year long. So he's at the elite category right now when it comes down to best overall quarterback in the league. He's one of the best.
I
So
agree. Yeah.
shout out to Trevor Lawrence, man, all the regular season accolades he had, and now he get to represent the entire NFC as their starting quarterback. Now on the other side of it, in the AFC, you got young gunner, the diaper dandy, Mr. CJ Stroud, man. I mean, he was excellent all year long. He took that team and put it on his back. He developed receivers over there because of this quarterback. He developed a system over there because of this quarterback. He can CJ Stroud hit you in multiple ways, right? He can hit you with his legs. He can extend plays and make throws all over the field. I mean, he's an absolute gunslinger, right? He can get it done right now. He's one of the. I think he's going to be the first quarterback to make those Ohio State cliches of they great college
Yeah.
quarterbacks, but not a good NFL quarterback. And Antonio's doing a hell of a job with C.J. Stroud, and he is that guy. And the Texans have a bright future because they are way ahead of schedule because of the play of C.J.
Man.
Stroud.
Development of C.J. Stroud this year. We've seen him take some big steps, and that's another young team that you just imagined far better than I think anyone else would have imagined them to. You know what I mean? Wouldn't have had them make it as far as they made it as well. That being said, I know they got multiple first round draft picks from life trades, and their future is very bright with the development of their team this year. Shout out to C.J. Stroud. He was balling the whole year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And look, man, at the end of the day, he was the number two quarterback in the league, right? He threw for the second most yards, I think, and the second most touchdowns. So, like,
Most touchdowns, yeah.
you got the AFC and NFC starting quarterbacks. They balled out all year long. They well deserving of them being a QB1 of the Pro Bowl. All right, so QB2 is those guys that are coming in the second quarter. We're looking at Justin Fields. Coach Corey got Justin Fields as a Pro Bowler, got him up to a 91. CJ Stroud went from an 80 to an 87. And Justin Fields is the NFC backup quarterback, right? He'll be the first quarterback off the bench coming in. Well, all I know is that playoff game against the Rams said a lot. I didn't watch the game, right? But Corey done something special with Justin Fields. Made him a passer and literally changed the narrative of what Justin Fields is, the narrative, right? Because when he first came out as a rookie, everybody would play with the Bears, right? And then after you watch him playing in real life, and the Bears is a shit show over there in real life, and it makes you turn you off on a Justin Fields. But I think Justin Fields is advertised. I think he is a dog, and I think it might not be with the Bears in real life, but eventually Justin Fields is going to show us that he's that guy. I really do believe that. But the
They
fact
hope.
that the fact that Corey had him back there, throwing the ball the way he did, speaks volumes, right? Like Corey seems like he's in his groove right now, and Justin Fields is, the number two quarterback in the NFC at this point right now, up to a 91. He's another guy that came from 79, 80 overall, somewhere around there to a 91. So he's developing really, really good. So that's the number
Hey,
two quarterback.
Justin Fields officially earned his second contract.
hmm So would you agree that the Bears are in good hands at the quarterback spot?
Yeah. I think the team. I think that Justin Fields allowed. He played so good with Justin Fields that some more of his team, the rest of their team, had no chance. No, they had to mature a little bit more, because of the play of Justin Fields. So, not one of those young teams with no ability. And Justin Fields kind of like, sheesh, it's a hell of a season.
Yes, sir.
Number two quarterback in NFC.
Yes, sir. All right, now Mr. Strong arm rifle slinger and the guy that'll run you over and run for 700 yards a season, and he's probably with the right coach too, because if Boone would have been able to play the entire season, you probably would have saw 1,000 yard rushing out of Josh Allen. But he's the number two quarterback in the Pro Bowl right now for the AFC, representing the AFC side, Josh Allen. I don't think his story has been told yet. We got to see Boone under a full season with Josh Allen. Because while he was playing, he was in the playoffs until he had to slide away on some military shit and couldn't really continue. But Josh Allen is he's a dog. We know who he is. He's one of the best quarterbacks on the game, and rightfully so. He's sitting at the number two quarterback position right now in the AFC. All right, third quarterback. You got a guy that I've been paying attention to all year, and that's Jordan Love, right? The fact that that Packers team has a really young base team with some veterans mixed around it, like they have a strong defense and a very, very young nucleus on the offensive side of things where they can get really busy with this team. I think the upside that's still in with this team is good, and the fact that is great now because Jordan Love played outstanding all year. And the fact that Drew can actually feel like he got a quarterback and get that guy some more development. And like, think about it, in the Pro Bowl at 78 overall. Like, imagine when he gets to about an 88.
Team kind of like was set up for Drew a little bit. Drew's style of play. Had a couple of young tight ends for a young quarterback to get the ball to. It's another one of those young teams that's really done had multiple extra picks the last 2 years, maybe enough for one more year. You know what I mean? And had multiple extra picks from Devontae Adams trading and everything. So it's another young team. And with the development of Jordan Love over here, saying he the third NFC, quarterback in the NFC, I'm pretty sure that means Drew is comfortable. He's found him a home and possibly earned him possibly a second contract. And I say that just because, like, a lot of times in the league, depending on Jordan Love and Fields, don't always get really second contracts. They normally get passed around a little bit after that. But
Mm-hmm.
like, man, you got to give both of them two guys, them coaches, a shout out, them offensive coordinators, because it seemed like both of these guys might have actually earned them a second contract.
And all you're doing is just waiting for the development. And the good thing is he's still young. I know he sat on the bench for some years behind Aaron Rodgers, but he's still a young quarterback, right? And not just that, he got a young team around him offensively, so they all going to grow together, right? And then he's in the perfect. He coaching the perfect team, right? Them tight ends is like what he loves, and he came into a situation with two really good tight ends, about three really good receivers. So I
Couple of
like.
vets on defense that's not over the hill.
Hmm.
So shit.
All right, the AFC number three quarterback is Patty Mahomes. It's one of the first times when he ain't the starter or he's not just getting a jersey because he's playing in the Super Bowl. But Nano, let's just call it what it is, right?
All
They
right,
had
one
a
of the first times that coach has had a quarterback in the Pro Bowl as well, though. So
yeah, and I know it got ugly in the playoff game, right? And shit happens. Things don't bounce your way. The D line for the Cleveland Browns just destroyed that offensive line in that game. They didn't give Patrick Mahomes space to do anything. But the fact that Nano has a Pro Bowl quarterback, that means there's growth there, right? Can Nano
absolutely,
extend his game? Can Nano add, and take full advantage of Patrick Mahomes? We really don't usually get to see Patrick Mahomes as a good quarterback in our league. And the fact that a running coach took this team and got his quarterback as a Pro Bowler right now, that speaks volumes on how good Patrick Mahomes really is. And once Nano tap into that, I think he's going to be a really good football team over there with that Chiefs team. And I like that because we don't usually get to see Patrick Mahomes do anything unless one of the good guys, one of the great coaches that can throw the ball, get him. Like we got to see good Patrick Mahomes play 2 years in a row because of Max and being the Chiefs in RDL and trading for him in Game of Thrones 4. But Nano is showing that shit. Anything you can do, I could do better. So fuck it. Let's see how that goes right now. While Patrick is still Patrick, Nano is in a good situation. So that's your three quarterbacks in the NFC and the AFC Pro Bowl. Now let's get to the running game because we had some running backs that touched the 2,000-yard mark, and a lot of these guys that's in the Pro Bowl did exactly that. Jameer Gibbs and B. John Robinson, right? Two rookies, two diaper dandies, two of the best
top
running
two
backs in the
rookies.
draft, and they right there in the Pro Bowl. One's a 93, one's a 95. So their development, they're dogs right now, and they're going to be there for a long time. And get familiar with these two guys because they're going to do it. You would think that they're totally two different running backs, but in all actuality, they got the same type of traits, right? Because Bijan is just as shifty as Jameer Gibbs, right? Bijan can catch the ball out the backfield just as a little under what Jameer Gibbs can do out the backfield, but they are like the same back. I think Bijan comes with a little bit more power, but the fact that Jameer Gibbs and that Detroit Lions, they got their run game going. And Coach Ray is a runner, right? And he got his run game going, man. And he got a deep threat receiver that can run faster than most of the people he's gonna play. And you saw the system, right? Launch that bitch, run that bitch. Shout out to Jameer Gibbs. Now on the other side, Mister I need a contract or I ain't playing, Jonathan Taylor and the coach. Let's start giving Seattle some credit, right? Because he finds a way to make running back a dog, right? In RDL, he had the Raiders, and he didn't have a special name running back, right? He had a nice little rookie, but he had a young running back, but he didn't have a guy that was a known commodity, right? But when he had Jonathan Taylor in Game of Thrones 4, he did exactly what he's doing right now, Pro Bowl and balling out with him, right?
Everything about that, like Jonathan Taylor, only 24 years old.
Hmm.
He ain't got a rookie, but he got a youngin' that's built. So, man, I expect to see him up there while he building some of them young pieces over there in
Yeah,
Indianapolis.
that AFC South gonna be tough, in my opinion.
Man, oh, because you
That,
do got McCaffrey. You got McCaffrey over there now. Uh,
you got Derrick Henry, Jonathan
come on,
Taylor, and
dog.
McCaffrey all over there in the AFC South right now.
Come on,
And all
dog.
you waiting for is when the draft is over and you see who the Texans drafted at the running back spot, then you got four running backs over there that's going to get after it, right? Well, I know Derrick Henry better go ahead and get after it right now because he's getting up there long in the tooth. All right, the number two running backs, you got B. John Robinson, man. Look, man, he's special and he's one of the guys, like, I don't care how many running backs is up there. It was only a few that you could really pay attention to and saw that they changed their teams, right? And that's B. John Robinson in the NFC and Eye Candy in the AFC. Like both these guys did some special shit all year long. I mean, we in the playoffs, and B. John is their leading receiver and rusher.
Mm-mm-mm. Real
That
life
tells
shit.
that tells you everything you need to know. And then you look on the other side of things, and this guy goes out there and run a 4.24. and he becomes a legend in the league for the Jets right now. The Jets fan base love eye candy right now. He got one of the best nicknames on the game, and that speed alone. You got a guy that comes out and give you 2,000 yards on the ground and 1,000 plus on as a receiver right now, right? That is a weapon that's really unstoppable. Imagine when that quarterback gets to the level of some of the weapons they got. Like everything turns up in New York. Simple as that, right? New York, big city of dreams. And right now they got one of the best young running backs in the league right now. All right, so a name that I didn't expect to be here is Tony Pollard at all, right? But the West showed that Tony Pollard is the new starting running back over there. It's been Ezekiel Elliott's show for a long time. And Tony Pollard, you saw it as seasons was going. Zeke carries would go down. Tony Pollard would look like the guy, and the fan base was screaming for him. It was time to let him get loose, and he did exactly that, having 2,000 yards this year. Led the league. Was in the top 3 in the league and rushing attempts this year. Like he got busy over there for Dak Prescott. Took some pressure off of Dak Prescott though, and now I had to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. Giving the ball to him 30 times a game matters. Then you got another diaper dandy. So we got 3 diaper dandies in the top 3 for the running backs in the Pro Bowl award, and Chase Brown, right? Falky made him famous in in Real Draft. But let's call it what it is. Gibbs, Robinson, Chase Brown. Who's the other rookie?
I candy rookie, right?
Yes, that's 3. Oh, 4. Yep, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 4. My bad. All right, so Falky made Chase Brown famous in RDL, but Chase Brown was already a name in real life, right? Out there in Illinois. If it wasn't for the running back in Michigan, both those guys in Michigan, he was the best running back in the Big Ten. Simple as that. Like he's a dog, and his twin brother is in the league along with him. All right, so now you gave a running back. Like he took him a while to get him started, but once he got him started, 2,000 yards rushing, and he got him up to a 91 overall right now. So these running backs you're looking at are the future of our league right now. And the fact that they are Pro Bowlers in our first season shows you what type of range they got going forward, right? These guys should, I can see all these guys still being in the mix next year. The one person I can see not being on this list is Eye Candy. And he's not going to be on the list, not because he can't make the Pro Bowl, because he probably will. But I just think the Jets will get into developing other people, and his numbers will go down because of that. Because that quarterback is going to get developed for sure next year, if he even there. All right, I'm not going to spend long on fullbacks, but you got Dante Foreman, you got Engold, you got Leonard Fournette, and you got Jusecki from the 49ers, I'm assuming. Leonard Fournette comes out of free agency, and the Jets tell him, you're not going to play running back for us, you're going to play fullback. If you want your career to last long, come play fullback for us. And he did exactly that, made the Pro Bowl. So Leonard Fournette has taken on a new role. Simple as that. Now, let's talk about these receivers. At 1, Jackson Smith-Njigba had more catches than anybody in the league. And him and Jarrett Wilson went toe-to-toe all year, right? They were going back and forth on who's going to have the most yards, who's going to have the most catches, who's going to have touchdowns. They went crazy. And I think, their future is bright. We already know what Jarrett Wilson did as Rookie of the Year in 22. He's right back at it, being the best receiver in the AFC right now, and possibly the best receiver in the league. And then you ask Jackson Smith that question, and he's going to say, nah, cuz I am. So the Seahawks is crazy because they already got DK Metcalf over there. Now they're developing this kid, and he's actually becoming their number 1 receiver. What does that mean for DK?
You're on the list too for right now.
All right, Jameson Williams comes back off of betting and gambling and shit to being at a play, and he walking under shit, right? This is just a guy that got so much speed, you better play off of him. You don't, he gonna run by you, simple as that. But John, walk on by you.
Walk on by.
Listen, John Mechie, right, comes off the ACL tear right before the national championship game in Alabama. So he took a couple seasons to get developed, and year 2, look what he did.
Not only that, man, he came to the league and then found out he had leukemia, some type of cancer.
Some type of cancer.
So he took another part of the year off, but he came back and he played his first game this season. So shout out to the boy John Mechie for back. And well, shoot, like you say, down there in Texas with C.J. Stroud, look what he do.
Is he becoming the number 1 receiver because they got Tank over there, Tank Dell, that balled out too. But I think John Mechie is the number one target right now. And this team, look, man, the future bright for the Texans. Simple as that. They just played a dogfight game that came down to the last 4 seconds in the AFC Championship, and they tried to get Mechie the game-winning touchdown, and he came up short, but he's going to be there all season for this team, and they got a quarterback, and when you got a quarterback, you got a receiver. So we're looking at Devontae Smith, Slim Reaper, the Eagles. Why Mike got niggas balling out on the low over there? Oh my
Okay.
God. And Trey Tucker for
Okay.
the Raiders. Like, did the Raiders find their number one guy, or is this the guy that stretched the field for them? Like, is this their number one target?
I think that
I,
might be the guy that stretched the field for him. That's him for right now. That might be. We want him to stretch the field pieces for him, I
yeah,
think.
because the Raiders is going to go in the draft and get them a receiver for sure. You
Yep.
know that.
Yeah. That was just him this year.
Sure. All right.
That'll be
Now,
his jet sweep guy.
at number 4, the guy that used to be the number one receiver for the Seahawks, DK Metcalf, is now number 4 receiver,
Yeah.
but he's a Pro Bowler, 6'4", 235. He's just a mismatch for sure. And then there's one of the Chase brothers. Look, he said the Chase boys is in Dirty Ass Ohio, and Jamar Chase is nothing to sneeze at because he was like the lead receiver through like the first 4 or 5 games. And he's a dog, simple as that. And as long as him and Joe Burrow got a connection, he'll always be in the mix. CeeDee Lamb is the number 5 receiver, along with Stephon Diggs, right? Two veterans in a sense, being the number one receivers for their team and up here. Then you're looking at Danny Gray for the 49ers, is becoming his own man over there. And Xavier Hutchinson, another Texan guy, right? So they got 2 Pro Bowl receivers and a quarterback that's a Pro Bowler. So they balled out right now. The number one receiver for the Ravens is the number one tight end in the Pro Bowl for the AFC, and that's Michael Mayer. He balled out. He had a whole bunch of catches too. He had 100 plus on a year. Noah Fant went crazy for the Seahawks, right? So they're the top 2 tight ends in the Pro Bowl. Then you got the Packers. Musgrave was there, and then Nano had Travis Kelce still making Pro Bowls. Let's go. Jawan Johnson for the Saints, and then Hill for the Dolphins. All played well. They're the number 3 tight ends, and they're the tight end room. Tunsil gets traded from the Texans to the Lions, and he's the number 1 left tackle. Armstead is the number 1 for the Dolphins in the AFC. You're looking at Lindstrom at left tackle 2, and Orlando Brown at left tackle 2 as well. At guards, you got Elton Jenkins, and you got Joe Patino for the Browns, right? Packers and Browns got the number 1 guards. Number 2, you got Bradford and Quentin Nelson. Of course, Nelson is in the Pro Bowl. He's a dog. Center, J.C. Kelsey and Creed Humphreys, your young ass Nano got another Pro Bowler up here. That's what's up. Ragnow for the Lions, and then you got Williams. I don't know who the hell Williams played for at all. Don't feel like stopping to find out. But Zach Martin for the Cowboys is there, right? That's the Cowboys, Zach Martin. And then Wyatt Teller for the Browns. 2 of them, right guard 1. You got Matthews, and then you got Vera Tucker, right, for the Jets. Is sitting there at right guards number 2. Lane Johnson for the Eagles. You got Jackson. A. Jackson for the Dolphins. You got Ramzak for the Saints. And you got DeJuan Jones for the Chiefs. No, he ain't go to the Chiefs. Yes, he is. He's the Chiefs. Yep. All right. Left ends. Zay Collins for the Cardinals. T.J. Watt makes left end number 1 for the Steelers. You got Wooden for the Packers, and you got Rousseau for the Bills at left ends number 2. Michael Parsons makes it. Myles Garrett makes it for the AFC. Bradley Chubb for the Dolphins, and D. Robinson. I think the Bears.
Right there. Yep. Dominic Robinson for the Bears.
All right, now D tackles number 1. Big Jordan Davis held it down all year long, and Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans held it down as well. Quentin Williams is number 2 for the Jets, and Jay Allen. Jonathan Allen for the Washington Commanders. Kenny Clark for the Packers, and Buckner for the Colts. Outside linebackers, my boy Yaya Diaby, left outside linebacker number 1, and Jaden Phillips for the Dolphins. Donnell Hunter holds it down along with Max Crosby. He gets a team change, and he balled out for the Bengals, right? Devin Bush, the middle linebacker for the Seahawks. Tyndall for the Dolphins. Papu for the Cardinals. Diablo for the Raiders. They're the two middle linebacker groups. Shaq Barrett for the Buccaneers, and then Harris for the Christian Harris for the Texans. Brian Burns for the Panthers at right outside linebacker number 2, and then Baron Browning for the Broncos. At corners, your number 1 corners is Cam Smith for the Dolphins, Jair Alexander for the Packers, Witherspoon for the Seahawks, Newsom for the Browns. Who did Dante Banks go to?
Giants.
Giants, Dante Banks, and then Trent McDuffie for the Chiefs. Now Clark Phillips, my guy Clark Phillips, he goes to the Falcons, and then Breece Hall for the Jets at number 4 cornerbacks. Blankenship, Reed Blankenship, and Minka Fitzpatrick are the number 1 safeties and free safeties in the Pro Bowl. Shout out to Onk and shout out to Mike. Eddie Jackson for the Bears and Petrie for the Texans. The Texans got a lot of Pro Bowlers. You got Grant.
Eagles too has quite a few names.
Yes, sir. You got Grant for the Falcons and Reed for where Reed play at right now? AFC Reed. For you, right? Or nah, the Browns.
Browns. Okay.
You got Curl for the Commanders and Daxton Hill for the Bengals. Are strong safeties number 2. Your kickers are York and Myers. Your punters are Anger and Arazi. Your returners is probably not even guys that got a kick return all year, but the Vikings and Strong. And then you're looking at Smith and Green. That's your Pro Bowlers. That's your Pro Bowl selection. But I know what guys are really here for. If you tuned in right now watching, you can't wait to see what it looked like on the stat line of who developed or who didn't. But I'm going to tell you like this. I will advance while we're in the middle of the show, but I won't talk about it while we're in the middle of the show. It's going to be up to you to go find out who the hell got developed. With that being said, Super Bowl compensation will be talked tomorrow. We'll find out when we plan that shit. And then we'll put this off-season schedule out the moment we get the Super Bowl schedule. With that being said, I appreciate all y'all for being tuned in. All y'all that played y'all games this year. Let's get it going. Let's get to season 2 and have a great season 2. With that being said, I'm out of here. And it's the Franchise Guru. As we advance, we're gone.